All right, Tiff.
What up? What up? What up, y'all? I said, what's up? What's up? What's up? Bum, 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 bum. This your girl, Two Tone, baby.
You guys know who this is. This is the hostess that always does the absolute mostest, Miss Iconic. And today I'm doing the mostest in my closet. So
Oh, festive.
I'm excited. Look at the colors. Look at the
I
range.
see it. It's the decorum.
Right.
Well, what up, Miss Iconic? Man, y'all, top of the Monday. Happy Monday to everyone out there. Yo, like we got a story to tell y'all,
It's not the
man.
top of the Monday, though.
Is it not top? Well, I mean, okay, top of the evening. Is it better? No.
Just, it's Monday. Happy
All right.
Labor Day, guys.
Happy Labor Day. It is. I didn't work today. Huh. How did I forget that?
I don't work. So,
Oh, well, okay, Miss Iconic. But anyways, y'all, so we got a treat for you guys today. Me and Miss Iconic felt the need to just go ahead and tell y'all about our experience on the march on Washington. Because as you all know, we did not do a live last week, and it was because we were traveling from Washington D.C. and it was a amazing experience, right, Miss Iconic?
it was, listen, man, it was a lot. It was a lot. So, I mean, everything that could have happened bad happened. And I would say that it was horrible, but all in all, it was a really great experience. Like, it started off, of course, I'm in Houston, so we had Hurricane Laura.
Oh,
And
Laura.
they're like, oh, board up the windows, get gas, get stock up on food and stuff, hide your kids, hide your wife. And I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm from Florida, so in Florida, that's what we do. We do hurricanes. It's just another reason to have a party at your house. So anyway, I wasn't too worried, but then everybody was all frantic. So I'm like, okay, Hurricane Laura came through the same day I was supposed to leave. I'm
Okay.
literally driving around outside and it's blue skies, clouds,
Uh,
people, it was a beautiful day. Like Hurricane Laura came through and was like, and that's all we got from
what you
Hurricane
got to
Laura.
Dougie Fresh you? Like start beatboxing?
That's all we got.
That's how you
So
get.
I mean, yeah, and then after that, it was just one thing after the other. I went to the airport and my plane got switched. All of our planes got switched like multiple times, right?
Yeah.
Isla, one of the other young ladies that was with us, she was there at 11 o'clock in DC.
Man.
Meanwhile, we're still floating around here somewhere trying to get on a plane. It was
Yeah.
horrible.
I just knew I was gonna be on the plane with Dwayne. So like I had the same crazy experience with Iconic. I was supposed to be in DC like at maybe like 4 o'clock. And so I get to the airport. I'm excited. Like I'm like, oh yeah, I'm about to be in DC. I'm super excited or whatever. So it like 10:30 the plane boards out of Kentucky. So we go onto the plane and they finally say my role. So my anticipation is built up. Like it's time for me to go get checked onto the plane. I go through the plane, like I go through the doop and get on the plane. I wipe my seat down. I wipe my seat down and they literally say, everybody get off the plane. We're deplaning y'all because there's a mechanical error and the plane should be fixed by 11:30, right? So I'm waiting at the airport. I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, 11:30. I'm not going to make my connection flight from Atlanta. And so I sit there and then they make this announcement, Miss Iconic, and it was like, hey, well, they didn't say hey, but it was like, excuse me, everybody flying to Atlanta. We just want to let you know that the plane is not going to be fixed. And the plane's part will be coming from another plane and it won't leave until 3 p.m. I
Hmm.
was like, what? So I'm at the airport at 10:30 and they're already telling me, yo, you know what? Yep, that's a wrap. So they had to redirect my flight, and I end up going to Detroit, and I got a first class seat, Miss Iconic. In Detroit.
Yes, honey, good for you. Well,
Thank you.
we get to DC, and now it's about 6 o'clock, maybe after in the evening. Um, and we get our luggage and we go. So we're super hungry. Go to the Airbnb to get the keys and got the keys. We didn't even take our stuff inside. We just went to Walmart. Everything was closed as far as restaurants and everything by that time, either closed or closing. Actually, we did go and get pizza and whatever. So we go to Walmart so we can have breakfast and stuff for tomorrow, the following day, for the day of the march. It was the following day. Hey Isla. So we come back from Walmart. We spend like an hour and a half in Walmart. We come back from Walmart and we pull up, and the security guard comes out and locks the door and locks us out of the whole complex. So we're like, are you kidding me? Like, boom, 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 hello. So he comes out, and that was a whole, it wasn't an ordeal, but it was just,
No.
it was an ordeal. It wasn't a mess. It was just, so we're lugging all this stuff up around the 8 mile walk that you gotta walk from the elevator to get to the actual door of the
Oh God.
Airbnb. It was just, it was disastrous. So the next morning, I mean, we woke up pretty early. We had to get up at like 5:30 because the march started. The program, they wanted you there at 7. The program started at 8. So we get up. I'm ready to go. We're all in a pretty good mood, I would say. Uh, and then we leave, and we get like 8 minutes away
Two
from
minutes away.
the actual destination, and I don't have any of the 4 or 5 portable chargers that I have charged the night before all night long. I don't have any of them, and my phone dies quickly, so
Just because
I'm
you get
pissed
a
off. We had to turn around, go get the chargers.
2 minutes
Um,
from the place.
ugh. So yeah, I started off the morning of the march kind of bummed and exhausted.
That's true. But however, we did make it in time, and by that time when we finally got Miss Iconic's charger and then made it back to the location, they had blocked off the roads. So then we had to like park like 8 minutes from the location and get an Uber. And so that Uber ride was cool because we're excited now. So now we're finally at the march on Washington. Like we're there. Like we are there. So we get out the car and we look and we just see so many people. It looked like a big barbecue. It looked like a family reunion. And so we seen this line, and Miss Iconic said, "Now we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that." So we keep walking, and we finally try to get into like the actual area where they were hosting the event, because it was like a gated location. However, it was still outside so we could see it. So we try to go in. They say you need a bracelet. And we said, well, where the line at? They said, oh, you passed it. No, no, we ain't passed that line. Nope. But
Man, it
baby, we
was
passed.
ridiculous. The line was like 2 miles long. Like if we would have just went to the line when we first got there, we would have probably been all
I
right.
won't say that now, huh?
But literally, it was literally 2 miles long. So we're walking to get to the end of the line, and the end of the line just never comes. The line never stops. It just keeps going and going and going. Like the Energizer Bunny. It was
Kept going.
horrible. It was absolutely horrible. So we stand in the sun for hours, guys. Like
2 hours.
almost 3 of them, almost 3 hours. But the good thing that came out of that, while we're in line, we run into like these awesome dudes, man. Like me and Tiff were having like kind of like funky, raunchy, like pretty hilarious conversations. And we turn around, and the one guy, which we now know as Brandon,
Hey, Brandon.
he's like, yep. I don't even know what we're talking about, but he's like, yep. So from then on, it was popping. We was with them for the entirety of the remainder of the weekend in DC. But so anyway, we finally get up to the front of the line. Like we could see, we don't really see the front of the line, honestly. We just know that the front of the line is that way. So
Mm.
we could see it in the distance, And I this guy comes and tells us, oh, it's a shorter line. So then we leave and go to the shorter line, and which wasn't even really a line. And then we get our bracelets. Like
It was
we
that
spent
easy.
5 minutes.
Oh, so mad. So mad. Yeah, so then, now we're finally in the gate. So we made it. I mean, literally, like it took us like 3 hours to get to this gate, but we're there now. And so once we walk in, and the energy was unmatched. It was something that we could you had to be there to feel. It was all kind of speakers and activists that were there. And what the coolest thing about that was is that they had different organizations all over the world. Like, so if you had like an organization in Louisville or in Florida or in Texas, like they all came together and made this large it was like a large group of people who just everybody was there for the same reason, and that was just for justice. And it was incredible, for real. I absolutely loved it. I mean, it was hot, hot, but
I'm
we made
telling
it,
you.
huh?
I finally see like it made you just look at like the sacrifices and stuff that
Yeah,
people have made throughout history, our forefathers and foremothers, our ancestors, even some of us, our grandparents, made those same sacrifices. But it was something about being in the same spot where Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King
man,
Jr. stood at and gave such an
man.
iconic speech. You know what I'm saying? The I Have a Dream speech. It was something about that just made you want to keep going. Now I ain't gonna lie, Miss Iconic was out of there the first couple of hours. I was out of there, like I was done. I'm like, I'm not doing this. Give me some ice cream. We just buy ice cream, Gatorade, water. I had frozen Capri Suns in my bag, Slim Jims. I had munched them down to death. Like
Man,
it was. Listen, but once you get out there, and I mean, there was no shade for most of the area where we were at. So we had to go and find like a little shade tree,
sat on the
and
ground.
we sat. And I'm all for sitting on the ground. I'm not too cute to do that. However,
Huh?
when you talk about grass with like gnats and
Oh,
dried up mud
I
and
swear
stuff
that
like
like
that,
it's a
it was
pandemonium.
it was pretty bad. We didn't have anything to sit on because we just did not prepare to be sitting in dry mud. So we didn't bring any of that stuff. And if we did, we wouldn't have been able to carry it for 3, 4 hours.
No.
You know what I'm saying? While we walked through this line. So you had many speakers. One of my favorite parts, there was a young girl up there that spoke, and it was Dr. King's, I guess it would have been his great granddaughter.
Oh, she was
If it was
incredible.
his son's granddaughter. So yeah, it would have been his great granddaughter. And that baby, I think they said, was 12 years old. And
The
she
way she
spoke
spoke.
with such eloquence and such dignity, such passion and power that you don't see in a 12-year-old. And it didn't matter that, she was reading off a paper, or that somebody probably helped her to write out, the verbiage or whatever. But the way that she spoke it, you would have thought that she wrote those words. Matter of fact, you would have thought that she lived those words.
It was incredible.
It was just that powerful. So that was one of my highlights. What was one of the best parts for you?
It's so random, but one of the best parts for me is when I was trying to tell y'all to like follow me for the when we were about to line up for the march to actually walk. I like there was a fence, so I had to like cross over the fence, and I look up and Al Sharpton walked right past me, and I was like, oh my gosh! I mean, like I was super excited, y'all. I was like, Like he was
Yeah.
like in arm's reach. And so that right there was incredible, you know, because you see someone who put all of this together. Like, who's gonna take his place after he goes to the Lord? Like, that man is incredible, you know. And so that was a highlight. And just the energy alone was just, it was just a time to be alive, baby. Because everything, I mean, everything was amazing for me. Just the experience, like I can tell my kids, like, baby, I was there, you know. So I enjoyed everything about the event, Miss Iconic. I would not change anything for the world, except for, you know, next time I'm gonna have to bring like a towel or something to sit down, because I don't do that grass. Them nets, like, it looked like it was like a pandemic or something. Like, they all came together, like all their cousins.
Listen, so we actually get ready to go to the march. And by now we're exhausted because by now we've literally been up since like 5:30 in the morning, and now you're talking about it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So we're far past 10 hours of, just being out there in the sun. One of the hottest recorded days for the temperature in DC. And so we're walking or getting ready to walk. I was ready to quit, guys. I was ready to give up. I said multiple times, like, I can't do this. I am ready to go. Like, please, my feet are burning. I am a big crybaby. And I know when I'm like just overly exhausted, overly stressed out, I start crying. And it's not because I just am soft, but I have bad anxiety. And at that point, like, my anxiety was kicking in. Like, my feet are burning. Like, I'm literally walking on the side of my feet because I can't stand to put pressure on the bottom of my feet. And you had to think about in that moment, what did Harriet Tubman feel like when she was running for her life, when she was
Mm.
trying to free herself and the other slaves? What did, Dr. King feel like? And he wasn't old, he was young. Dr. King was in his 20s when he marched. What did those people in Selma, when they marched over that bridge, what did they feel like? What did all those runaway slaves feel like when they were just exhausted, tired, didn't think that they could do it, didn't think that they could make it, but they had to keep pushing for the better good, for the bigger picture. And regardless of whether they lost a foot, a hand, or their entire existence and lost their lives, like, they did that for a reason and they pushed through. And so at that moment, not only that, but I also have friends around me that was like, listen, we came this far, we
Yeah,
did all this, we have to keep going. Let's
yeah.
just push through. It's we're almost finished. We're almost at the finish line. Like, let's just push through. Mind you, the march had not even started,
They
the
was
actual march. But you have to have people around you that are going to push you when you're ready to give up, because there's going to be times, your destiny, your purpose is going to demand a lot out from you. And it's going to be times where you're going to feel like giving up. It's going to be times where you're going to think you cannot take any more. But at those times where you feel the weakest, that's when you're actually the strongest.
Yeah.
Because I did not think I was going to be able to push through, guys. I felt like I was going to pass out before the march even started.
Oh my God.
I felt
Yeah.
fatigued. I was hungry. I had eaten all of my snacks. Um, I wasn't really out of cash, but we spent a lot of cash on waters and juices and things like that, trying to stay hydrated. And I wanted to just lay down. I wanted to just lay down. I was tired. But in those moments, you cannot just lay down. You cannot lay down and die. You cannot lay down and give up. You cannot lay down and let people walk over you. You have to stand and you have to continue to push forward.
Wow. Miss Iconic, I didn't even look at it like that. Like, I was just kind of, you know, like just fatigued. And I kept telling myself, you know, because I had only had like a half a cup of oatmeal that day. I didn't know you had snacks, by the way. But that's all I had. And so, my energy is super low. I'm starting to feel weak like no other. But like something in me was like, yo, my grandmother would love to be here, my grandfather would love to be here, like I'm doing this for my family. And so it kept me going through the midst of it all. And so, you kind of take away that, oh, it's hot. You take that away because there's so many people that would give, and there were so many people that died for us to be there. And then there's so many people that would have given anything to be there. And
It
so
was.
you
As a matter of fact, one of my good friends from Detroit, Heather, if you're watching, hey babe, she had an incident where their flights got all jumbled up and they ended up not even having a flight and didn't know until pretty much they showed up to the airport, to get ready to catch their flight. And they had done all this planning around this trip for months. You know what I'm saying? I'm sure it had taken off from work and everything. And to get there and to be told, no, I'm sorry. Like,
oh my god.
that is spirit crushing. That is
Yeah.
spirit crushing.
Yeah, so,
Um,
so you don't take those moments for granted, like for us
no,
being there and hot, because there was
no.
somebody that wanted to be there and could not. So it does, yeah, that ain't cool on our part. But I mean, I totally understand that, Miss Iconic. Like, just overall, like the entire experience, like to see all kind of races and genders, and like anything, everybody was there and everybody was on the same page. Like, it was such a beautiful thing. I know, like, we come a long way, but we got so much work to do,
Yeah.
and so, if there's like things that you want to do in your community, I urge you to do it, because there's people out there that is waiting on you to start. Somebody is waiting on you to start something because they can't start it, but you got all the necessary tools to start it. And that's really what I learned is, if you want to make a difference, go and be the difference. And
Yeah.
that's so important.
Man, it was one point when we were walking. I don't know if you remember, but guys, so there were gnats in the park and stuff. And they were small swarms. But then when we marched through the roads, but then also once we got like to the nearby Dr. King's memorial, where his big like monument or whatever his statue is, I don't know what that was. It was like a sea of swarms of gnats and bugs and all kind of stuff in the grass. And if you imagine I'm gonna say hundreds, but near tens of thousands of people walking through this grass, and you have maybe 5, 10 times more bugs.
Oh,
Y'all imagine the scene. I would be interested to see if anybody even got pictures of that, because I'm telling you, I at that point was another point that I wanted to give up. I was inhaling bugs. I had bugs stuck to me. They were dead from me swatting
in my
them.
nose.
They were in your nose. I had a gnat in my eye. So
Was it
they were
pregnant?
just up in swarms. And at one point, I had to put the towel over my face and just watch through a little crack at the bottom to see the person's feet in front of me, to make sure I don't step on their feet, because that's how many bugs it was. You couldn't. I had a fan around my neck. The fan wasn't working. I was fanning. I was swatting with a towel. Nothing was working. Nothing was working. My vision was blurred. Like I couldn't see. It was just everything that you never want to experience. And in that also, sometimes you're not gonna be able to see your way forward.
Most
Sometimes you're not
definitely.
going to recognize the things and the people that are around you.
Mm.
It's chaos going on around you.
Yeah,
I could not
sure.
see. My vision was obstructed from bugs and things flying and all kinds of stuff clouding my vision. But you have to keep pushing forward, whether you could see the way or not, whether you know. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know where I was going. I was just following in the direction that they told me to go. So when you're getting instructions from someone, okay, you don't have to. You just have faith that they know what they're talking about, and that you have to have faith and continue to push forward, whether you could see the way or not, whether
Yeah,
you know where you're going or not, whether you know where this path ends up or not. You have to keep pushing and you
of
have to keep
course.
going. I mean, when I tell you I was drenched, my shirt was soaking wet,
We seen.
disgusting. I had water in creases and cracks that I didn't even know I had on my body. Like I was literally dripping
We was
with
nasty
sweat.
at the
I
end.
was literally dripping with sweat, and then bugs and dirt and it was just it was a nasty, dirty situation, and
I
it
mean,
was.
but how do you think diamonds are formed, right? Like in the dirt under pressure. So you gonna be dirty, like at the end of it. But once you get out of that, it's gonna be beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. Yeah, like what you're saying, we were sweating and everything, but like at that moment, it was just what a time to be alive. So you kind of, yeah, those nets now. And I ain't gonna lie, Miss, I ain't even gonna take away that story because that thing was so. I feel like I'm still got nets on me, and I've been back for a whole week. You know what I'm saying? So, overall, like just stay the course is what I got from what you just said. You just gotta listen and stay the course, even if you don't know if it's right way. You just gotta keep on pressing forward.
I'm telling you. So we finish up, wrap up with the march. And I, yeah, we finish up with the march. And so we're calling the Uber back because don't forget, we parked in some random location and called an Uber there. So we have to catch an Uber
Oh,
back.
child.
The Uber was supposed to be free. We never got the code to get the free Uber. So we did pay for the Uber, but no tea. It's fine. No shade or whatever. That's fine. But so we called the Uber. We wait on the Uber. It takes like 20 minutes for them to get there. They never got there, actually. They canceled the trip on us. So then we had to call another Uber and check Lyft and figure out this and figure out that. So we sat there for like another hour, finally got a Uber to come, and he was just a madman. Like he not like physically mad, like emotionally mad, but his driving was horrible, and he, I guess, couldn't read the GPS. Like it was confusing. The streets in DC are
He's from
confusing, but
DC.
my gosh, you gotta live here, so you gotta know how this stuff works.
Right.
When I say we were maybe five, no more than 10 minutes away from my car, and it took us 40 minutes to get to the car.
And it wasn't no traffic. The traffic wasn't the reason why it took us 40 minutes. That
Man,
joker just, it kept saying recalculate, baby. So finally, like, so me and my buddy Isla, like, I said, put on your GPS so we can follow. Cause I don't know, I don't trust people. So we put it on, and our GPS kept recalculating. Now I know that when you got a GPS, you're supposed to stay on course, but for some reason it kept recalculating. And finally, Isla spoke up and said, "Can you take a left up here? Can you
it
take a
was
left?
horrible. We had to tell him
How to
how
get
to
there?"
get to the car. And then he's like, okay, and what next? Okay, right here. Okay, right here. A few minutes after that, we was at the car. So not only that, okay, that was a
Oh, it was
$20.
almost a word in that, Miss Iconic. Oh,
So
keep
what was the word?
going. The word is, so although you are going through a GPS, like you think you know the direction that you're going in, and you're not even going to follow the GPS because it's like, oh, I already got it. I ain't even got to worry about that. But finally, you don't know what direction you really need to go. And so if you don't stay focused, then you're going to get lost, and it's going to take you a longer route. It's going to take you a longer time to get where you need to go. This iconic. That was good.
Yeah, but it kind of didn't fit. Like that's not even
This
what
iconic
happened.
good. Keep
That's what I
going.
did too. So it was a $20 ride, right? We get there. I'm like, Isla, how much did he charge you? She's like, $20. I was like, check, girl. $79 later, after he took us in all those circles, we got to report him and all of this. So anyway, we get back to the Airbnb. We are dog tired, which is some of the videos and clips that you guys saw on our social media. It was just an exhausting and fatigued day for us, but nonetheless, we absolutely enjoyed the experience, man. We absolutely enjoyed the experience. I mean, the rest of the trip, like, there were other things that happened, but you know, we took it in stride,
Yeah.
and we just, we taking that, collecting all the memories and taking it for what it is, because these are things that we could share with other people one day. Like, we made history last
Yeah.
Friday, like, and a lot of people cannot say that. And it's not just for the bragging rights, but man, like, we were a part of history, and that in itself was crazy, like. So I mean, if you guys are wanting to know, like, what can you do, like, how can I be more effective, how can I get more involved, we encourage you to look up your local chapters, whether it be, and it doesn't have to be just Black Lives Matter. It doesn't have to be, but any organization in your respective community that is making change for the betterment of humanity, get involved. Look up the NAACP, look up NAN, the National Action Network, which is who hosted the March on Washington. They have
Check
chapters
out So Rich
everywhere.
Foundation. Check out So Rich, because So Rich sponsored us. So I'm gonna go ahead and shout out my sponsor, So Rich Foundation. Y'all make sure y'all check that out as soon as we get on here. Get off here. So SOWRICH. So Rich Foundation.
I
Shout out.
appreciate
And
that.
thank
I
you so much
appreciate
for sponsoring us.
and thank you to our donors. I would be absolutely remiss
Absolutely.
if I did not mention them. I've already thanked them a million times privately, and I know they're like, "Girl, get over it," but I can't get over it, because when you go through life and you have people in your life that don't support you, and you have people in your life that never try to help you, never offer any assistance, and then you get random people out of the blue. Some of them know you, and some of them are strangers, and they're so willing and so sincere about the mission and about helping you. We had some awesome donors
Yeah.
that donated to this initiative, and I cannot thank them all by name, but we had some ladies that sponsored our flights.
Yeah.
One of our donors put me on a first class flight.
Girl, you
this
have
is
first
the
class.
this is the first time I've ever flown first class, and I've been flying for 10 years now. I've never flown first class. So she put me on a first class flight, made me feel like the royalty and the queen that I am. And I
Right.
appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. We had other donors,
Thank
putting us in Comfort Plus and extended comfort seats, and paying for luggage, and sending
you. Yeah.
donations, and buying food, and donor, paid for the rental car. Like,
Yeah.
I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you from the
God be the
bottom of
glory.
my heart,
Thank you.
wholeheartedly, to all of our donors that
Thank
helped
you.
us to take this trip and to become a part of history. You are forever, forever etched on our hearts, because it was absolutely a weekend of action. We worked, honey. We networked. We talked to people. People stopped and talked to us. We got in touch with, like you were saying, to different organizations and things that were from all over the country, different organizations and things. We got to link up with people and connect with people on social media.
Mm.
We met some wonderful, wonderful brother friends,
Yes, Frank
brothers,
is
baby
Dad and
booze.
Brandon.
I mean, it
God
was
bless
just an
them.
amazing opportunity
Yeah.
for us, and we're going to individually and collectively continue to provide opportunities for those in the community who are wanting to develop themselves personally and socially. those who are wanting to just have a better quality of life, man, whatever that means to you, we're all for that. So I don't think we have any questions. I got a couple people saying, hey guys. Isola says it was the roach for her. A flying roach flied
I
up on
no
into
roach
the
in DC except for the one that Isola said was on her. So awkward. I'm just kidding.
Judy Stone.
She
I
know.
got it, because what I got was stay on course in life.
You know that
Absolutely.
GPS, baby. Somebody got to catch it with me.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes. That's what's up, y'all. You know, from again, like Miss Iconic said, thank you so much for the sponsorship and thank you so much for believing in us. And look, Miss Iconic, shout out. You already know who it is, baby. This your girl, Tiffany Tuto.
And this is the hostess that always does the absolute mostest, Miss Iconic.
Y'all, we out.